I knew something was wrong the moment her laugh cut through the room like a shard of glass. It wasn't loud. Just that kind of low, condescending chuckle that makes your skin crawl, especially when it's directed at something close to your heart. Something sacred. We were at my parents' house. One of those casual Sunday dinners where everyone brings something and tries their best to pretend we all still get along like we used to when we were kids. My fiancé, Caleb, and I were chatting about wedding plans. How stressful the seating arrangements had become. How the florist suddenly stopped replying to emails. Innocent stuff. Just life. It was supposed to be a moment of excitement. We were venting, yes, but smiling through it. Nervous laughter, inside jokes, little glances across the table that made me feel like no matter how chaotic things got, I had him. We had each other. Then she laughed. Ellie. My brother's girlfriend. She tilted her wine glass, looked me dead in the eye and said, "Well, even if it doesn't work out, at least you'll get some cute Instagram pictures out of it." The room went silent. I didn't even know what to say. I just stared at her. My stomach turned over itself. But she wasn't done. She added, almost casually, "I just don't get why you guys are rushing into marriage. You barely know who you are yet. You should give it like 2 more years before making it official." She said it like she was offering helpful advice. Like she wasn't essentially insulting my relationship in front of my entire family and my fiancé, who, by the way, was sitting right there trying his hardest to pretend it didn't sting. But I could see it in his eyes. That quiet withdrawal. The way he suddenly picked up his fork and started pushing green beans around his plate like a nervous kid. Caleb doesn't speak up in moments like that. Not because he's weak, but because he's always trying to keep the peace. That's who he is. The kind of person who would rather carry the discomfort alone than pass it on to someone else. And I hated that for him. Hated that she had the audacity to say something like that in our moment. That something so happy had suddenly turned cold. So I didn't respond. Not right then. I just smiled the way women are taught to smile when they're being disrespected. Tight lip. Is narrowed. I locked it away like I always do, and made it through dinner pretending I hadn't just been sucker punched in front of my whole family. But later that night I texted her. Kept it short. No drama, no name calling. "Hey Sally. I just wanted to let you know that what you said at dinner really hurt me and Caleb. We're excited about our wedding and your comments felt dismissive and disrespectful. I don't want that kind of energy on our day. I'm sorry, but I don't think you should come to the wedding." I stared at the screen before hitting send. My heart was pounding. I felt sick, but in that hollow, adrenaline-soaked kind of way that happens when you finally stand up for yourself. I knew it would cause waves. I didn't expect the tsunami. The first message came from my brother. Then the next. And the next. He was furious. Said I was overreacting. That Sally was just being honest, and I couldn't take a joke. That I was blowing everything out of proportion and punishing her for having a different opinion. That banning her was going to destroy the family dynamic. He even said, get this, that I was the one being disrespectful by uninviting her. I didn't respond right away. I just sat there with my phone in my lap, staring at the wall, wondering how standing up for my fiancé and myself had somehow made me the villain. The next morning my mom called. Her voice was quiet, careful. She asked what happened. I told her everything. To her credit, she listened. She understood. She said I was right to set boundaries, especially if someone made me feel small about something so personal. But then my dad called me later that night, and he didn't see it the same way. He said it wasn't about being right or wrong. It was about family. That excluding Sally would create drama that would hang over the entire wedding like a storm cloud. That everyone would be walking on eggshells. That I needed to be the bigger person. Be the bigger person. That phrase felt like a slap in the face. Because wasn't I already the one who sat through that dinner in silence? Who didn't call her out in the moment? Who waited until later, privately, to address it like an adult? Wasn't I the one keeping my cool, trying to keep the peace while also protecting my fiancé? I looked over at Caleb, who was curled up on the couch next to me, headphones in, scrolling on his laptop. I knew he felt awkward. That this whole situation was making his quiet, introverted soul want to crawl into a cave until spring. "I'll support whatever you want," he'd said earlier, when I first told him I texted Sally. And I believed him. But I could tell he was tired of the drama already, that he hated being the reason, or rather the excuse, for all of it. And that made me even angrier at Sally. I tried to talk to my brother again, called him. He picked up with that tight, angry tone, like he'd been rehearsing a fight in his head all day. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. I told him again that it wasn't about holding a grudge. It was about how she made us feel. That what she said wasn't just a joke, it was mean, undermining, and worst of all, public. She didn't mean anything by it, he said. Then why hasn't she apologized? He didn't have an answer. Because she hadn't. Not even a text. The days passed. The air around everything felt thick. I started second-guessing myself, wondering if I really was overreacting. If I'd ruined something that could have just been brushed off. But every time I saw Caleb try to act like it didn't bother him, it reminded me that this wasn't just about me. It was about us. About what kind of energy we wanted at our wedding. About who we wanted surrounding us when we promised to spend the rest of our lives together. And frankly, someone who could reduce our relationship to a joke at a family dinner wasn't someone I trusted to clap when I walked down the aisle. Then, a week later, Sally texted me. No apology. No acknowledgement of what she'd said. "If you really think banning me is going to solve anything, you've got bigger problems than me." That was it. "No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean to hurt you." Just a passive-aggressive jab and a reminder that she saw herself as the victim here. And suddenly I didn't feel guilty anymore. I told my brother that the decision stood. That I wasn't banning Sally to punish her. I was protecting the energy of a day that meant everything to me and the man I love. That I wouldn't invite someone who couldn't even admit she'd crossed a line, let alone apologize for it. He hung up on me. We haven't spoken since. The wedding is in 6 months. Caleb and I are still moving forward. We're finalizing details, checking in with vendors, tasting cakes. But there's this shadow now. A quiet, lingering tension I didn't ask for and didn't deserve. And yet, I don't regret it. Because as much as I hate that it came to this, I keep coming back to one thing. This is the person I'm building a life with. And I won't let anyone, family or not, disrespect that. I don't know what will happen with my brother and Sally. Maybe they'll break up. Maybe they'll get married themselves someday. Maybe he'll never forgive me. Maybe one day he'll understand. All I know is this. Setting boundaries isn't cruelty. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. And sometimes, the hardest part of growing up is realizing that keeping the peace doesn't always mean keeping everyone happy. Sometimes it just means choosing yourself.
I was one drink in when she said it again. That same damn line she's been saying since we were kids. Like a badge of honor, like a crown she awarded herself every time the attention dipped. "I'm the chosen one," Penny grinned, swirling her gin and tonic. "Dad had to keep you all, but he chose me." It landed like it always did. A few laughs. My brothers chuckled, probably out of habit more than amusement. Even the new girlfriend, David's, I think, smiled politely, though her eyes darted between us like she wasn't sure what she'd walked into. But me? I felt the warmth of the alcohol giving me courage I didn't ask for. Or maybe it was just irritation that had been simmering for, I don't know, 20 years. So I looked at Penny and, without thinking, I said it. Loud enough for everyone to hear. "Chosen by our dad, sure. But not by your first dad, huh?" The words hung there. Heavy, like smoke that wouldn't clear. And Penny, her smile dropped. She blinked once, then again, like she wasn't sure she'd heard me right. No one laughed. My brothers went quiet. One of them muttered, "Jesus, really?" And even David's girlfriend, who had no stake in any of this, looked at me like I just kicked a puppy. I shrugged. I mean, come on. We've all heard this story 1,000 times. It's getting old. No one responded. My boyfriend quietly pulled out his phone and called an Uber. We didn't even finish our drinks. Let me rewind. I'm the second of 4 kids. My older sister Penny came first. She's not biologically related to our dad. Her father, my mom's high school boyfriend, bailed not long after she was born. My mom met our dad when Penny was 3. They got married. He adopted her. The rest of us, me and my 2 brothers, came along not long after. We grew up as a unit. No, half this or step that. Just siblings. Family. But Penny always stood out. Not just because she was older. Not even because she was technically adopted. It was because our dad adored her. And I don't mean he didn't love the rest of us. He did. He was a good dad. He showed up for us, coached soccer games, did the bedtime routines, made us waffles on Sundays. But with Penny, there was this extra softness. Like he had something to prove. Maybe it was because she wasn't biologically his. Maybe it was guilt over not being there for her early years. I don't know, but it was always obvious. He lit up around her. He made time for her in a way that felt different. And Penny, she knew it. By the time she hit her teens, she coined this little phrase. Dad was stuck with you guys, but he chose me. At first, it was kind of funny. I think even I laughed the first time. It was cute, clever, a way to own her place in the family. But then she kept saying it, over and over and over. Birthday dinners, family trips, random Tuesday breakfasts. Anytime someone pointed out that my brother had Dad's nose or I had his eyes, Penny would jump in. I didn't get anything from him except his last name because I'm the chosen one. She'd say it with a wink, a smirk, always in front of people, like it was her catchphrase. My parents and brothers laughed, every time, like it was part of the family lore. But me? I hated it. Not because I didn't love her. I did, still do, but because it always made me feel less. Like we were all the default kids, and she was the special one. The one Dad made a decision to keep. The rest of us were just born into it. I don't think she ever meant it to hurt, but that didn't stop it from stinging. Especially when you're growing up in a house where you already feel like the third wheel in your own family. So yeah, maybe I held on to that. Maybe it festered. Fast forward to a few weeks ago. We're all out for drinks, just the siblings and our partners. Penny's sitting across from me, telling David's new girlfriend the classic story. How Mom met Dad, how he adopted her, how she got his last name. And then right on cue. He had to keep them, but he chose me. Cue the laughter. Cue my eye roll. Cue the flash of heat in my chest that I'd been suppressing since I was 13. And I don't know if it was the vodka soda or the years of pent-up resentment, but I opened my mouth and let that bitterness pour out. Chosen by our dad, but not by your first dad, huh? I wish I could say I felt instantly bad, that I gasped and clapped a hand over my mouth. But I didn't. I just watched the expression fall off her face like a curtain dropping. And even then, even when I saw how much it hurt her, a tiny voice in my head whispered, "Now you know how it feels." The fallout was immediate. My boyfriend got me out of there, thank God. He didn't say much in the Uber, just held my hand and stared out the window. I could tell he was disappointed. The text started that night. First from one of my brothers. Not cool. Then the other. That was messed up. The next morning, my mom called. "Did you really say that to Penny?" I didn't lie. "Yeah, I did." "She's devastated." "Well," I said, trying to keep the defensiveness out of my voice, "maybe she should stop with the chosen one crap. It's obnoxious." There was a long pause. Then my mom said quietly, "That may be true, but you didn't need to say what you did. That was cruel." Then my dad called. He wasn't quiet. He was furious. Said I was jealous. That Penny had always loved me, always tried to make me feel included. That I lashed out because I was insecure. That I needed to apologize immediately. And maybe he's right. Maybe I was jealous. But was I not allowed to be? Here's the part no one seems to get. I'm not mad that our dad adopted Penny. I'm not even mad that he loves her so deeply. I'm mad that she used that love like a trophy. That she branded herself the chosen one over and over while the rest of us were just there. Expected. Automatic. I don't think she meant to rub it in. But intent doesn't erase impact. And yeah, my comment was sharp. It was too far. I know that now. But it didn't come out of nowhere. It came from years of swallowing little jabs dressed as jokes. Of being made to feel like the default sibling. Of watching our dad give her the kind of attention I quietly craved but never dared ask for. I haven't spoken to Penny since that night. I don't know if she's waiting for me to apologize, or if she's just done with me entirely. Part of me wants to call her, to say sorry, to tell her it came from a place of hurt, not cruelty. But another part of me feels like no one wants to hear my side. Like my entire family rallied around her without stopping to ask why I said what I said. As if it's easier to label me mean than to admit that maybe, just maybe, their golden girl has been standing on a pedestal we built without realizing it was crushing the rest of us underneath. So yeah, maybe I was the asshole that night, but I don't think I'm the only one who's been unfair. And if speaking up about that makes me the villain in my family story, I guess I'll wear that too. Just don't expect me to laugh about it. I don't know where we go from here. Families are messy. Love doesn't cancel out pain. And sometimes, the things we joke about are the very things we're still bleeding from. Maybe one day Penny and I will talk. Maybe I'll find the words to say sorry, and she will find the ones to say I didn't know it hurt you. But for now, I'm sitting with the silence, and learning that even when you speak from pain, it doesn't always make the truth easier to hear.
I never imagined I'd reach a point where I'd say it out loud. Not in our family. Not after everything we've been through together. But one day, I looked my sister in the eye and said the words I never thought I'd say. I don't like having you around. I'm 28 now. The second of 4 sisters, all born just a couple of years apart, raised in a noisy, chaotic home filled with hand-me-downs, shared bedrooms, and tight budgets. We didn't have a lot growing up, but we had each other, and back then, that felt like enough. We shared everything: clothes, toys, secrets, and sometimes even toothbrushes when one went missing. Our parents tried their best with what they had. Money was always tight, but we were never hungry, and we never felt unloved. We were close, inseparable, even. And then we started to grow up. It started in middle school. My younger sister, who I'll call Riley, was always the quirky one. She had this vibrant imagination, always dressing up in costumes, pretending to be a pirate or wizard or whatever her book obsession was that week. But once we hit adolescence, the line between quirky and concerning started to blur. At first, it was small things. She'd show up to school in mismatched clothes, hair wild, teeth unbrushed. It was easy to chalk it up to rebellion or laziness. Puberty is weird. We all had rough days. But then it became constant. No showering. No brushing. Dirty clothes worn for days at a time, even when they were stained or smelled. Her breath reeked. Her body odor was intense, so strong that if she sat near you on the bus, it'd cling to your clothes. We all noticed. Teachers noticed. Our mom pulled her aside more than once to talk about hygiene. Our dad offered to take her shopping, help her feel good about herself, tried to make it a bonding experience. But Riley just didn't care. Or said she did shower, that people were just being dramatic. It only got worse in high school. I remember passing her in the hallway once. She was wearing the same hoodie she'd had on all week, hair in matted clumps, greasy bangs stuck to her forehead, and I didn't even say hi. I just kept walking. I felt horrible. But what was I supposed to do? At home, our rooms started to smell like her. The hallway. The bathroom after she used it. It was inescapable. And the thing is, this wasn't just a teen phase. It didn't go away. Fast forward to now. Riley's 25. She's a mother of 2 beautiful little kids, both under the age of 6. And as much as it hurts me to say this, she's still living like hygiene is optional. And now her kids are, too. The first time I babysat for her, I didn't recognize them at first. Their hair was tangled into knots, dried food crusted on their cheeks and shirts. Their little bodies smelled like sweat and mildew. One of them was wearing the same clothes I'd seen him in a week before. I bathed them, brushed their hair, gave them clean clothes from a bag she packed, only to realize those were dirty too. When I asked her about it, Riley just shrugged. They're kids. They get dirty. But this wasn't about a little mess. This was neglect. My parents, God bless them, tried to help. They'd babysit and give the kids a proper bath. They'd gently bring up the smell, the hygiene, the health risks. My mom even offered to help her set up routines, get on food assistance, talk to a pediatrician. Every time, Riley insisted she was doing fine. That people just didn't understand her lifestyle. But here's the thing. It got to a point where I couldn't have her in my home. I had just moved into my own place, a one-bedroom apartment, nothing fancy, but it was mine. Clean. Organized. A fresh start. I invited the family over for dinner to celebrate. Everyone except Riley. I couldn't do it. Because when Riley comes over, the air changes. The smell clings to furniture. Her kids smear dirt into the cushions. They jump on everything with sticky hands and tangled hair and shoes caked in dried mud. And I know they're kids. But it's not about kids being messy. It's about a mother not caring. It's about letting her children go weeks without a proper bath. Sending them to school in stained clothes. Letting them walk through the world like ghosts no one wants to sit beside. So I told her. I called her after the dinner, and I said it straight. Riley, I'm sorry, but you can't come over anymore. Not until things change. She got quiet. I could hear the TV in the background. One of her kids crying. Why not? She asked, voice already defensive. Because the smell, Riley. It's overwhelming. I can't have you or the kids sitting on my couch when it takes days to get the scent out. I'm not trying to be mean. But I just can't pretend this is normal anymore. Silence. You're being dramatic, she muttered. I'm not. You need help. But I won't keep ignoring it to spare your feelings. She hung up. We haven't spoken since. My mom called the next day. She was crying. You shouldn't have said it like that, she said. You could have handled it more gently. My dad was more direct. She's struggling. You think this is easy for her. But that's the thing. I don't know what's hard for her, because she won't talk. Won't take help. Won't even acknowledge there's a problem. My other sisters are split. One of them quietly thanked me for saying what no one else would. The other told me I was out of line, that I embarrassed Riley. Maybe I did. But no one talks about how I feel. How hard it's been to watch my sister slowly let herself and her children deteriorate while everyone else tiptoes around the truth. How I still cry some nights, wondering if I should have just kept my mouth shut. If I pushed her further away. But I also know this. I have boundaries now. And no matter how much I love someone, I don't owe them my silence. I didn't tell Riley she can't be in my life. I told her she needs to show up differently. That she has 2 children depending on her. That living in denial isn't just affecting her anymore. It's affecting 2 innocent kids who deserve care, dignity, and a clean bed to sleep in. I don't hate my sister. But I do hate what she's become. Or maybe I hate what she's lost. That vibrant little girl who used to sing to herself in the mirror. Who used to braid my hair and whisper secrets at sleepovers. Who used to dream about being a vet or a teacher or anything other than this. I miss her. I hope she comes back one day. But until then, I'm holding my line. Not out of anger. Out of love. Because someone has to stop pretending everything's okay.